So as I said, I'll tell you a little bit about this Business Finland co-innovation funding instrument. It's quite recent. It's been up for the last four years. And what I'm going to be going through is what does this instrument actually entail? So what is it for? The role of the university here, the role of the companies, and how to go about to prepare a successful application. So what is this all about? Basically, it's an instrument offered by Business Finland, and it's funding for R&D projects for both companies and research organizations. And the idea is to jointly develop new business needs through the utilization of university research. The idea is to build a sort of ecosystem, so we require multiple companies to be on board. And based on the research, basically each partner has to have kind of its own active role in the ecosystem. And at the end of the day, we have to create kind of a common goal and vision. And we have to also make sure that there is sort of a need for this ecosystem, that there's a market demand, and convince Business Finland that the development of such an ecosystem will bring impact. And of course, then to plan how to reach that common goal and vision that we all have. It's important that the ecosystem provides each partner with innovative value, a competitive advantage, market potential, social and economic impact, as well as this internationalization aspect, which Business Finland very much sees very important. When it comes to the funding itself, it's important to know that we require at least a minimum of 3 companies to be on board to apply for this funding. And I say 3 companies here, but the feedback we've received in previous years has been that 5 or more is better. So the more companies we have on board, the better, really. And it's a maximum of 2 years. The funding level for the university is 60 to 70%, and that of companies then is 50% for SMEs and 40% for large companies. And that can be under the form of a grant or loan. I would advise that if you are interested in this instrument, that you contact Business Finland, and we've got the contacts for you. We've got our key contacts that I've got at the end of the presentation, just so that you start those discussions straight away, see what are the different options in terms of funding and kind of criteria and that you qualify for the application. And we can definitely have those conversations with you, or you can contact Business Finland one-on-one if you want directly. Titta, actually, could you post in the comments a link to the funding criteria and all the information, so that anyone can then go and look at that also in their own time. There are no call times or deadlines for the application, which is sort of ideal for us, because that means that we can decide together when would be the right time to apply, so that everyone can get in their applications at once. And they do prioritize sort of these high-class R&D projects that support internationalization and growth. Business Finland looks at the appropriate relevance and need of the consortium. So is there kind of a problem solution fit, but also very much the credibility of the partners in the consortium. So making sure that everyone has a key role, and or that there are no gaps left, and that everyone kind of is working towards the common vision. And as I kind of stated, this kind of uniqueness aspect, competitive advantage, the impact, internationalization, all things that need to be brought through the application. When it comes to the role of the university, here the University of Helsinki is kind of a coordinator in the application. And the idea is that we are providing new research results, new knowledge and solutions that then will be utilized by the companies in this ecosystem to create new business opportunities and fulfill kind of business needs. So at the end of the day, Business Finland wants to see a consortium that will lead to exports, networks, jobs, and new sales. For the companies, it's very important that we have kind of this very open discussions between our researchers and companies, because at the end of the day, obviously the synergy can only work if we understand the company needs fully, and that there's this transparency, and we can work towards a similar kind of vision and goal. Something that's very important to note here is that even though obviously we're kind of having this overall application as this ecosystem, but each partner within that ecosystem has to submit their own application. So they'll be receiving their own R&D funding and will have their own R&D goals. And that can be a bit tricky because at the end of the day, we have to make sure that each application then separately still works towards fulfilling the common vision. And that's sort of where the University of Helsinki takes that role in coordinating that. But everyone will have to submit their own application and will have to do so jointly. So how to prepare a successful application, something that's kind of relevant for you to know at this stage is that it's not something that can be done tomorrow. This is something that will take anything from 2 to 6 months because it requires kind of ongoing negotiations and discussions with each partner and designing kind of these work packages of what each partner will be doing and how does that fit overall in the ecosystem. Of course, NDAs and that will be taken care of when the timing is right. And we're here as the business collaboration team, we're here to help you for that. And then we'll put in place a consortium agreement once the partners have agreed to do the application. IP is a very important question, which comes about quite often from the company side. And as typical in Business Finland funding instruments, it goes by who creates it, owns it, and any kind of joint research, then it will be jointly owned, depending on the kind of the contribution. And these are the Business Finland contacts. And I know this was very, very quick, but I wanted to provide you just with a general overview, because at the end of the day, it will really be case-by-case discussions with Business Finland and your kind of company, the type of project you want to apply for, etc. So I would definitely then be in contact with these key people so that we can get those discussions going as soon as possible. One last comment about the kind of size of the funding. Again, it very much depends on the size of your company and what you're planning to do. But here, it's important to note that Business Finland is looking for really big kind of projects that have kind of a broad, large vision. So these are not small projects. And if you want an example, we've had the University of Helsinki projects that have received between 5 and 7 million. Obviously, that's then divided between the different partners, but it's important to know that it's not a small amount of funding. It's expected to have a large impact on kind of the business opportunities for the companies.